The Nazis' euthanasia program was an important precursor to the mass murder of the Jews in the Holocaust extermination camps over the course of World War II. It must be mentioned that the Nazis' euthanasia program was far from what the term euthanasia stands for. Euthanasia is intentionally taking the life of someone in order to relieve pain and suffering. There is little resemblance between this definition and what happened during the Nazis' euthanasia program. Adolf Hitler's intentions of the euthanasia program were initially not focused on the Jews, but to rid Germany of the physically and mentally disabled, as they were a burden to society. Hitler's goal was to create a superior race. The Nazis used the term useless eaters to describe these victims of the program, as they were a burden to the economy. It was argued that the money allocated to keep the medical centres that were caring for the sick in operation could instead be used on resources to help win the war. This helped with the rationalisation that these killings were necessary to maintain a healthy Germany. These killings were the Nazis' first signs of organised mass murder. The Nazi euthanasia program came about when firstly a father had a request that Hitler kill his child who was deformed. Hitler investigated if this was true, and once established that it was, he instructed physicians to carry out euthanasia. After this, Hitler legalized the killing of disabled or deformed children. Hitler requested reports of mentally and physically disabled newborns and young children be sent from doctors and hospitals across Germany. A questionnaire was filled out, and the medical experts decided, based on the answers, whether the child would live. An estimated 5,000 children were killed in this program, in operation until November 1944. After this, the Nazis directed their attention to adults. The adult euthanasia program was initiated in October 1939, and Hitler authorized in a statement that the authority of certain physicians to be designated by name in such manner that persons who, according to human judgment, are incurable can, upon a most careful diagnosis of their condition of sickness, be accorded a mercy death. This official documentation authorizing the program was backdated to September 1st, 1939, in order to coincide with the day World War II began, leading the program to appear to be an ethically correct wartime measure. Hitler appointed Philip Beaulieu to run the euthanasia program. Beaulieu ran the operation out of his office in Hitler's chancellery at Tiergartenstrasse 4, which led to the operation taking the codename Action T4. Different methods of killing were used in the Action T4 program, including gassing, starvation, lethal injection, and shooting. Gassing proved to be the most swift and effective method of murdering. Mobile gassing vans were built to kill the victims with the carbon monoxide fumes of the van as they were taken for disposal. Doctors then discovered the chemical Zyklon B cyanide found in pesticides that proved to be more effective at killing many victims. The secret operations occurring in the Action T4 program ceased in August 1941. Dauer de Witz stated that before T4 ground to a halt, it visibly demonstrated the continuity between killing racially valueless elements within the German community proper and killing the racial enemy. In January 1942, the 1C conference took place where plans for the final solution began to be discussed, and the Operation Reinhard death camps was set up in Poland away from Germany to maintain their secrecy. Heinrich Himmler appointed Otto Globcznik, the SS and police leader for Lublin, to take charge of the death camps. Globcznik looked to the personnel who had been involved in the Action T4 euthanasia program to help with the construction. The withdrawal of the program meant there were personnel experienced in the use of euthanasia looking for work, and their knowledge and experience could be utilised. Gord McPhee remarked that almost the entire personnel of the Operation Reinhard camps were drawn from the T4 organisation. One of those men to be put in charge was Christian Wörth. Christian Wörth was a pivotal figure in the introduction of the regime of terror and death in the Operation Reinhard camps. Wörth figured prominently throughout the Nazi euthanasia programs and is a significant link between the euthanasia programs and the death camps. Yitzhak Arad writes that the experiences gained by Wörth in the euthanasia institutions, especially with the use of carbon monoxide, were put to use when he was appointed inspector of the Operation Reinhard death camps. Not only was he the inspector of the death camps, and in this capacity the actual commander, but also it was he who developed the entire system of the extermination machine in these camps. Created using Powtoon.